How you doing, Cyberland? My name is Kelvin Maximilian Stanford, and I'm here to tell you a little bit more about the Odishas and why I, as an African American, ended up practicing Cuban Lukumi, also known as Santeria, and why I went that route. Uh, I'm gonna give you a little background about myself. I was born and raised in Chicago and in Northwest Indiana. As a kid, I ended up becoming confirmed in Emmanuel Lutheran Church. I liked the church. I actually loved it. It was actually a pretty good experience. But then I kind of outgrew the church, like some of you have. And then I ended up going, trying to find myself. My father tried to, make me do Jehovah Witness, and I used to go to the Kingdom Hall and all other stuff, and that was not my calling. Nothing wrong against the Kingdom Hall, but that wasn't for me. So after that, later on in life, I was dibbling dabbling in different philosophies and everything else, but I really wasn't really committed because they never called to me. And then when I joined the military, I met who's my padrino now. Me and him started serving together in 2000, and we was talking. And we really, back in the you kids, we 20-year-old, you're not really talking about religion or stuff, not that in depth, right? And years later, he was me and him because I was under the pressure, going to Mad Lutheran Church. When you hear Santeria, which means saints in Spanish, I'm thinking that Santeria was was prayer to the saints, to the Catholic saints. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I'm not a Catholic church type of person. I've been to Catholic church, is not my thing. And he started laughing and said, no, crazy man. And he broke, Cuban Lukumi down how it's an African-based, African traditional religion that was carried over from from Africa to Cuba and to South America and even to, parts of Southern Florida and Louisiana, and then he explained to me how it evolved, right? How our ancestors brought it over, and then they had to make a lot of sacrifices to keep their traditions alive as best they can, and let the Odishas flourish. So he gave me a lot of reading material and recommended things for me to read, and he was telling me things, and then I had got consultas with him because I have got my cards read before. I have been to psychics and everything else. Some real good ones, which I got a lot of love for the gypsies because they always been on point and accurate. So I got those things done. Then later on, I ended up, learning. I was just committed to this faith, and 3 years into learning with him, I said, look, I want to, receive my warriors and my hand of a ruler, my Ewo Kafa. So I ended up going through the ceremony and everything else. So now I'm 3 years in, and I'm just here to tell you that it's a very hard religion to learn. You learn things because, especially for me, I'm an English speaker that's learning, different dialects of Spanish. I'm taking in Cuban heritage, African heritage, Latin heritage, and fusing it with African American heritage. It's a lot, but it's beautiful because at the end of the day, it just tell you how resilient this faith and how us as a people, regardless of where you come from, are when you have a common goal and you're trying to make something better in the world. So with that being said, I'm gonna introduce you to my Eshu-Ellegua, also known as Eshu-Ellegua. I received them from a Babalao, a Ifa house. I do not know that much about the OSHA side of the house because I'm not crowned. I'm not an OSHA. I'm just a practitioner who on his way to being crowned. My guardian is in my yacht. So with that being said, I'll go like what? Let me show you. Every issue is different. So it comes with different designs, different heads. Those are things that Ifa tell you. I don't know. I'm not an Ifa priest. I'm not a Babalao. So I try to be nosy, ask some secrets, but the old Cubans, man, they shut it down. Or sometimes they'll slip some information because they give you some stories, but in the day, they're not gonna take all the secrets. So anyway, which is a beautiful thing. My Eshu-Ellegua was made for me because I'm gonna try to get my yacht and my sign. So when you become in this faith, every issue is different. So your issue would be, even though every issue is an issue of Bawana, which is an Eshu-Ellegua, the way they're designed is different because it goes with your sign, and there's a lot of things. The Balaos got to pray, they got to do their thing to even make sure which one is right. So as you can tell, you see the green and yellow, which represents the Ifa side of the house in Cuban Lukumi. The other bees, the dark green and the brown and green are the traditional side of the house. I don't know that much about the traditional side of the house. I just do know that there's some great people there, and I know a guy who I know for some years who's on the traditional side of the house, and they do that thing too. Beautiful thing. So with that being said, you see my feather, right? That also lets you know it's been consecrated. It's been given to me by Babala. My feather used to be all, all out there and jazzy, but it's been fed a lot. So my feather is not, it's still there, right? And then you see my ODUN, which is the stone right here. It's consecrated too. So, and then you see it's all packed in there. And there's a big hole in here that has lots of Aguilera issue up on it. So with that being said, it's a lot of things that goes on that I don't know because I'm not a Babalawo and it's not privileged to me to be. But I do know this. When I received the issue and I had a bad year in 2019, I was told before that my yearly reading to, carry him, have him travel with me. And he was there with me. So he helped me navigate from Florida. He traveled with me from Chicago to Florida, then from Florida back up to Chicago, now to Massachusetts, where I lay my head right now. He reduced a lot of burdens. He opened up a lot of doors. You know, he made sure that we was always fed. Money was coming in. We had a roof over our head. Even when we was tough times, popping from place to place to find routes, but he was there walking with me. So I say this because in this faith with the Orishas, they're there to help you, and it's a mutual respect. Like like my Progeno's wife, my yeye, what she says. They're not genies. They're not there to grant your ass wishes. You know what I'm saying? They're there to try to help you. Do they give you the blessings and grace from them to do what you have to do? Yes, they do. But the, people come to Odisha thinking they're gonna do everything under the sun for them. It's not like that. Odishas are living deities. They have their own personality, their own way of. They see more than we see. Just like our ancestors, that you got the ancestor altar, whatever else. So don't ever expect them to just bow down to what you got. You can pray and ask them to guide you and help you, and it's up to them if they want to give you that blessing or not. You know, Key point: Eshu is known as a trickster. Do not play around with him and lie to him because he will make your life a living hell. Because you cannot pray to Eshu for A, B, and C and say A, B, and C and not be real about what you trying to accomplish. Because he knows Eshu was there from the beginning of the time, he'll be there from the end of time. So with that being said, make sure you follow through with what you're saying. Well, make sure that you follow through with your prayers and come from the heart and speak to him like anything else. But with that being said, I just wanted to show you guys an Eshu-Ellegua, Eshu Bawana from the Cuba Lukumi side of the house. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or follow the links below. I got my Godfather's channel down there and his Facebook page, and I'm just show you guys a little bit of perspective about how Cuba Lukumi is and how me as African American practice and how I feel about it. I love the faith. If you got any questions for me, please ask me, and I will probably make more videos. I have, like I said, I've been in this faith for 3 years. I'm on my way getting crowned, and hopefully you have a blessed day. Ashe.